Another example. Now, normally we calculate, everybody must have calculated the age at some other point in our lives. So we know that whenever we want to calculate somebody's age, हम उनसे पूछते हैं आपकी date of birth क्या है? So we ask their date of birth and then you subtract it with the current year. And that is how you get somebody's date of birth. So that is what is the logic. So now in the pseudocode I've written it as read input the date of birth. Calculate the age by subtracting the year of birth by the current year and display age. Very simple. The algorithm is input year of birth. You can take the date of birth also. Then step number 2 is age is current year minus the year of birth. And step number 3 is printing the age. In the flowchart representation, you can see यहाँ पर begin लिखा. You can write. Usually it is written as start, then read birth date, calculate age is current year minus birth date, the year of birth, and finally display the age and end. So that is a very simple program for calculating age. Now we will look at various basic examples of programming. So here you can see you have calculator, area of a triangle, perimeter of a triangle, square and cube of a number. All of these are examples which are similar to what you've seen in the beginning or something similar to what I have done. I have, out of these examples, I have solved a few of them. The others can be done by you as practice. So whenever you are learning any programming language or any automation, the most basic example that the students are told to solve is a calculator. So a calculator, as you know, performs basic mathematical operations. I'm just going to look at the basic operations. So let's have a look at the calculator program. And again, I have only written the algorithm of the program. I'll be explaining only the algorithm. The flow chart is left as exercise for the students. You can make your own pseudocode, you can make your own flow chart. As I said, most of the time programmers usually work with algorithms. So, so for a calculator, if you remember, when you're working with a calculator, there are new numbers and then there are the operators. So operators like plus, minus, multiplication and division. So for adding numbers, we need two numbers, right? So we'll be needing two inputs. So with that in the picture, I am going to take two inputs. So you can see I have written it as read A, read B. So step number 1 is read A, step number 2 is read B, step number 3 is calculating the sum of A and B. So I have declared a variable called as sum, which is sum equals to A plus B. Next next step is to display the sum. Further ahead, now I am performing subtraction. So I have written difference equals to A minus B and display the difference. Multiplication is A cross B, then display the multiplication value. Division is A divided by B and display the division value. So this is a very basic algorithm for a calculator. So you can make a calculator in any programming language. Just remember these are the basic steps of creating a calculator. Now let's look at another example. Hopefully this is clear to you. Now I move on to another example. Now see, this is very important, a very important concept in programming, because many a times you'll be working with a lot of programs where you are supposed to, reverse a string and do a lot of things like that. Modulo operator it is also called as modulus operators. So let's have a look at this program. See, normally whenever you perform division, you remember division में क्या होता है, एक dividend होता है, हम लोग divisor होता है, हम लोग divide करते हैं and what we get is the quotient and then there's something called as a remainder. In programming, remainder बहुत important काम करता है. So let us see how do you get the remainder in division. Now what I am doing is I am going to display the quotient and remainder of a division. So of course for division you need two numbers. So I am going to read number 1 and read number 2. In the third step I have written print quotient. It is just for like when the program is being displayed, it looks better. So print quotient. So quotient is num3 equals to num1 divided by num2. So जब हम लोग दो number divide करते हैं, whatever you get at the top when you are dividing it by hand, that is the quotient. So it is very simple, num1 divided by num2. Now Say for example, now I am dividing 5 by 2. So my quotient will be 2 and my remainder will be 1. अब मुझे remainder चाहिए तो हमें क्या करना है? So to get the remainder, we use the percent sign, which is also called as the modulus operator, MODULUS, modulus operator. So when I am using a percent symbol instead of the division symbol, just please note this, I'm using the percent symbol instead of the division symbol. Whenever I do this, I get the remainder. Okay, so please remember this. Whenever you are working in a programming language, whenever you are working in any program, quotient will always give you the number. मतलब divide करने के बाद modulus जो होता है division operator आपको हमेशा quotient देगा और जो modulus operator है वो हमेशा आपको remainder देगा. Okay, बहुत सारे programs होते हैं जहाँ पर हम लोग को we are supposed to access individual units. जैसे अगर समझो 1 2 3 4 5 है, मुझे इसको रिवर्स करना है, ये स्ट्रिंग को रिवर्स करना है. सो व्हाट दे यूजुअली डू, 1 2 3 4 5 डिवाइड बाय 10 करते हैं. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज जब हम लोग डिवाइड बाय 10 करते हैं तो हमेशा रिमाइंडर 5 आएगा. सो 1 2 3 4 5 लूँगी, डिवाइड मॉड्यूलस 10 करूँगी, मॉड्यूलस 10 तो रिमाइंडर 5 आएगा. तो मेरे को देन आई कीप 5 एट वन साइड. ओके, देन अगेन 1 2 3 4 डिवाइड बाय 10 करती हूँ, then I'll be getting 4. ऐसे करते करते I keep on appending the numbers to the string and I can just reverse it. तो आपको शायद difficult लगे as of now, but just remember that very important, quotient आपको output क्या देता है, remainder आपका output क्या देता है. Again I repeat, whenever you are dividing two numbers, अगर आपको division अगर आपको चाहिए कि जैसे मैंने आपको कहा 8 डिवाइडेड बाय 3 किया आपने, so 3 2s are 6. Okay, so 2 is your quotient and 8 minus 6 2 is your remainder. Okay, या फिर let's look at another number, 3 divided by 13. Okay, 13 divided by 3. So when you are dividing 13 by 3, your quotient will be 4. 3 4s are 12. So your quotient will be 4 and your remainder will be 1. So when I perform the operation, division operator using this slash symbol, my output will be, if I'm talking about 13 divided by 3, then here num3 ka value should be 4 and remainder num4 ka value will be 1. I hope you understood this. Please try this out. Very important that you understand what is quotient and what is remainder. How do you calculate quotient and remainder in any programming language? Simple interest. Simple interest you must have done many a times as a student. So as you know, the formula for simple interest is PRN upon 100, isn't it? So to calculate the simple interest, we need the principal, the rate of interest and the number of years. So I'm going to take it from the user. I'm going to ask the user to input the principal, the rate of interest and the number of years. So my algorithm, the first two steps of my algorithm are read principal, read ROI and read NOI, that is number of years. Next step is calculating the simple interest. So as you know, simple interest का formula is very simple, PRN upon 100. So मैंने principal, rate of interest into NOI upon 100 किया. Now please remember, when it comes to programming, it follows the BODMAS rule that we use in mathematics. So that is the reason I have put all of this in a bracket. नहीं तो वो left to right पूरा आपका solve हो जाता. ठीक है? So remember this rule that जो operator precedence कहते हैं उसको programming language में, whenever you are solving any sum in programming language, the operations are performed using the BODMAS rule in mathematics. Bracket पहले होता है, फिर division multiplication, उसके बाद addition subtraction होता है. Between multiplication and division, if they are in the same line, then it goes from left to right. So that is how you calculate the simple interest. The formula is given to you and then you fill the simple interest. Now the next example is average, total and percentage calculator, another standard example that you find in most of the programming languages. So this is like when you're calculating the mark sheet. I just wanted to show you how to calculate the average, right? So for that, of course, you will be taking the values of 4 subjects. So I have taken the values of 4 subjects, read sub 1, sub 2, sub 3 and sub 4. Then you know how to calculate the total. Total is the addition of all the inputs that the user has given. So total is sub 1, 2, 3, 4, and average is the total divided by the number of subjects. So total upon 4, percentage is average into 100, and then you print the total and then you print the average. So that is how you can calculate the average, total and percentage. Okay. I hope you understood my sessions. I hope you understood the basics of programming. I repeat once again, whenever you are doing programming, it is absolutely essential that you start thinking. Copy paste is not going to help you. It will just ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आप एग्जाम पास कर लोगे. But अगर if you want to be a good developer, if you want to survive the job market, it is absolutely essential that you think. You know, programmers are paid a lot of money. They are paid a lot of money because they are supposed to think. And anybody who is good at logic will always be a good developer. It does not matter which programming language you use. What matters is how good you are at logic. And I have shown you very basic steps, very basic simple examples as to एक simple सा चीज़, कोई भी एक problem आता है आपके हाथ में, तो हम उसको कैसे solve करेंगे? What would be the steps that you take? So remember, these are some of the examples that you can try by yourselves. Many of this I have covered. Some you can do, like some of them, most of them which are written over here are very easy, very basic, and you can do it by yourself. Okay, thank you so much. uh, Please get back to me with any queries or suggestions, and please fill the form which is provided, the quiz which is provided. Thank you so much. Bye bye, stay safe, take care guys.